मैं फिर भी तुमको चाहूँगा, मैं फिर भी तुमको
To London, please do give him a warm round of applause. Is it a rarity for you to be in London, or do you visit fairly often? We need two of these, really.
It's like having a shisha, hookah bar. But it's, I've come here on holiday, fair amount. It's one of my favorite places to come on holiday, especially in the summer. Yeah, so but coming like this is rare. I've come on one or two events like this, but I did come for 2 states promotions. But I think this is a nice, innovative idea. If you come, meet the local community, meet the students, I think it's always nice. So this is somewhat a first.
Okay, so you've all seen the trailer. Now, one thing, I have to be honest, Chetan, that's been boggling my mind, I've asked my friends, since Mohit Suri announced the title of his film, which is based on your novel, and they've retained the original title. So I just want to throw it out there. So those of you, when I say half-girlfriend, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Now, don't be shy. You can be outspoken, say whatever comes to mind. Like, right, here we go.
Friends से ज़्यादा girlfriend से कम.
Which is the tagline? Okay, anybody else?
Friends with benefits.
Friends with benefits. Okay, anybody else? Any other theories? Friend zoned. Okay, girls in the back.
The perks of a boyfriend without the commitment.
Ooh. Okay.
What are the perks?
What are the perks? All right, so Chetan, for those of us not familiar with the term and concept, please enlighten us. What exactly is a half-girlfriend?
Yes, it is one of the most intriguing and you can say curiosity-evoking titles I've had. I try to put interesting titles for all my books, but this one definitely has raised more questions than anything else. People are looking at the trailer and she says, I'll be your half-girlfriend. Like, what? What? And it started with something I'm seeing lately because of technology, because of, say, things even like WhatsApp, things like that. You meet many people and they are like, you guys look really close. Is she your boyfriend? Is he your boyfriend? Is she your girlfriend? And they're like, no, we're not boyfriend, girlfriend. But are you just friends? No, it's a little more than that. And there is that in-between space in a relationship. It could be maybe you're fond of someone, but it never went on to a relationship. It was definitely more than friendship. There was potential, but for whatever reason it didn't happen. And it's becoming more and more common, like I said, because of technology. You can be close to people without actually being with them. Emotionally, you could be close to them. So that, I felt you need a term in the middle so that it just becomes easier. Because good friend is an abused word. And lover and relationship feels too strong. So you need something in the middle. So I thought you need half girlfriend. So, but it's not friends with benefits. In fact, it's in this case it's girlfriend without benefits.
It sort of seems like unrequited love as well, right?
It's not so much unrequited love. It's just like, okay, so this boy can't speak English. And I did my research and many girls admitted that they will not, in India, they will not date a guy if he doesn't speak English well. And actually she really likes this guy. Everything is sweet about him, nice, caring, real. She's from this rich industrialist family. It's all fake there. She likes him and everything. But he doesn't fit into her party. He doesn't, and so she won't date him. So it's just, she's the half girlfriend, he keeps pestering her that what are we? And basically to shut him up. I'll be your half girlfriend.
Well, actually, in Arjun's case, I think he's done all right. I mean, I'm sure there's some guys here who are like half girlfriend. I haven't even got a girlfriend, right?
Okay, I won't ask details. Yeah.
Okay. So, has there been a half girlfriend in your life, Chetan, at any stage?
A better half. And I've had several half girlfriends. Yes. Even the first crush in school I had. I mean, we were too young. And I had not hit puberty. I think I have now. But it never went anywhere. We weren't dating. Which in school, in my school, dating meant going to the canteen together. You go to the canteen together and buy a burger together. You are like, it's a scandal. But even that didn't happen.
So I mean, how different is it, like sort of in India itself, back home, in comparison to in the US and the UK? Like this terminology is fairly new to us, as you can see. We're still trying to reach a conclusion with it. Is it more open relationships there?
It's
or do they
more.
shy away?
In fact, the term is needed more in India. Here, still people have friends with benefits, friend zone.
Right.
It's kind of there. But in India, the issue also is dating is a taboo still. In many small towns, dating is a taboo. So it's not just about being friend zoning or friends with benefits. It's just that you like someone, but you can't be open about it, or it can't go anywhere because there are too much complications involved to have a full-blown relationship. But you kind of just like them, you know. Or like 4 guys in India will assume that if they like a girl, other guys should not talk to her. She walks around, wo meri hai. Girl doesn't even know. But that's her girlfriend.
So do they update?
So in India, there's more of this little bit like affection, which doesn't really go anywhere.
But like these days we have like Facebook, so do status updates, like I'm in a relationship or it's complicated?
It's complicated is the closest you
Okay.
can say. Yeah, that's in the same family. Yeah.
So Chetan, you've written fictional books, non-fiction columns, you're a motivational speaker, you've been a judge on a dance reality show, you've done a fair bit of screenwriting as well, but you turned producer, is that
Yeah.
right, with half your friends? So was this co-producer, was this always your ambition? Did you progress and graduate from being, did you always wanted to graduate from being a writer to a producer?
It sort of happened organically, and I'd been wanting to be more involved in the films because if you give a story, that's a big contribution, but I marketed the book, right? I know how I marketed the book. To not bring that knowledge in the marketing of the film would be a loss to the film. So I need to get involved in marketing, you know, and even in other things like casting or I mean, there is a certain vision I had. So I feel it would be nice to be involved in that. Now, just because you want to be a producer doesn't mean people are going to make you a producer. But because the previous films on my books have been successful, this time I said, I want to be a producer if you want to make this.
Okay.
And they said, okay. And I said, my God, you actually agreed. Then I said, fine. And then I've been quite involved. This is the sixth film I'm involved in, but this one I've gone on sets every day. So I've kind of seen it being made. And it has brought certain other skills which I thought I'll never use again because I used to be in a bank and Goldman Sachs I was there. So production involves a lot of budgeting and spreadsheets and project management and, you know, flight schedules and things like that and logistics. All this is coming back now. I was in fact doing that for this film more. Mohit was making the story. I was not really doing that.
Okay. So you've learned new skills? Do you find
New skills, and I think, see, I'm 43 now. I started writing 5.1. It came out when I was 29. I must have written at 27. And I'm writing a story about, see, if you're in your 20s, you write a love story, it's a campus romance. Like, oh, that's such a sweet writer. I'm 43 now. So if at 50, I'm writing teenage romances. Like, who's this creepy uncle? So I have to evolve into something which, and I may not want to do it, right? I may be like, okay, fine, these millennials, you know.
Sure.
So I wanted to create a role, and I think being a producer also allows you to bring in new talent, work on projects which are not exactly just your books. So this is a step. It all depends on how Half Girlfriend does on May 19th, because as a film it's my 6th, but as a producer it's my 1st.
So when you say producer, because in my sort of industry, a producer is somebody who does a bit of research and gathers all the information for you. But in the filmy term, is it more of a financer? I mean, what kind of
So we have
involvement
3
do you have?
producers here. One is Mohit, who's the director. So he got equity for basically directed the film. So he became a producer that, but he hasn't really done much of a production role too much. But he's focused on direction. He gave me the job. Basically, he said, when you're shooting a film, there's a monitor, right? And you're seeing what's happening on screen. My job was whatever is happening in screen, Mohit will worry about it. Everything, even a table lamp in the scene, it's Mohit's problem. He has to make sure. Whatever problems are happening outside that, which is a lot on a film set, I am not going to let those reach Mohit. I'm going to solve it for him right there. So if you're in Delhi, you will have cops troubling you. Why shooting it in Delhi? Even though you have permissions. You show them the permission, then they'll stall the shooting. I'll say, come guys, let's have a cup of tea. So I'm having tea with all the cops, and Mohit is making the movie. right? And he's not bothered by that. Or if people have not been paid, and then I'm chasing the Balaji, the funder, so they'll do that. Or we're going to New York, and nobody really knows New York, so then I'm figuring out where we should stay, how long we'll do it, what are the landmarks, how do we shoot New York. New York has come so many times in movies, but still how can we show it a little different? So all those things. So because I'm also creatively involved with the project, it's a little easier for me to talk to the director. I can tell him, hey, we're spending too much here, it's making no difference to the movie. He's fine. But if he says, you know, I really want to shoot the view of Times Square and we have to take this location. Or he said, I want that subway. There's a subway scene, like he's going around looking for a New York and there's a subway scene. Then it costs a lot, like some $25,000 to just shoot there. But I know he wanted it. And he said New York is not New York without the subway. He used it for 7 seconds. I'm a little upset about that. But I'm like, you know, it's fine. We would have shot it at the station. But that balance of creativity and finance I brought into this film.
Okay. So why Mohit Suri? I mean, you know, he's done many different genres of films. What was it that attracted you to him to helm the direction of this film?
See, he's done 11 films and he's very good at love stories, intense love stories. So this is a boy, Madhav, who's come from a village and he is having a good time. There's one song, Thodi Der Aur Thehar Ja, if we have time we may play. But in the end of that song, the girl has a good time and she just like kisses him, like pecks him on the lips. Nothing major.
Teasing him.
Not teasing, you know, that's what like guys say, come on.
She's our girlfriend. I mean, come on, that's giving us the wrong signals, Chetan.
Is it, that's the thing, right? I mean, that's where, maybe, but she's just happy. And you know, sometimes you do it but it's also wrong to assume that just because a girl does that, we can discuss that.
Just a minute. Let's see what the guys have to say about that.
Yeah, we can discuss that. But for this guy, the moment she kisses him, it's love. And he goes and tells his friends, I think in her head she thinks, I'm her husband. You know? Like, mani man mujhe apna pati maan chuke hain. But in her head, she says, no. Yeah, we were just like having, you know, I'm not sure, right? You can call it a tease, you can call it whatever. And that's what the friends say, by the way. The next scene is the friends say, she's teasing you. You're going to, you know, so, and that, I don't want to reveal everything. But yeah, so that's, sorry, what were you talking about?
So, sorry, slightly distracted.
So, Mohit, so he comes from that place where it's love for him. And therefore, it's not a rom-com movie. It's more, and there is that whole angle of like him feeling a class difference because he doesn't speak English well. So Mohit handles that very well. Intense love stories, music. His music is really the best of the best. So people have already read the book. Most people or a lot of people know the story. So what is going to be different in the movie? So at least if I can give them amazing music, that was another big plus. And he's young. He's 36. He's made 11 films. He's very efficient. You know, he's come from that Vishesh Films background, where they have very low budgets for their films. So he's used to that. So very disciplined. So I think, and he's a great guy. I mean, he's really a friend of mine, and no ego at all. Like he will take, if an AD will also say something, like a 7th AD in the film will say, sir, but this is not looking right. He will change it if he feels it's right. So yeah.
Brilliant. So Chetan, you know, like Bollywood films used to be targeted. Let's wait for the room so we get.
Yeah.
So sorry, I was saying so Bollywood films used to be dominantly targeted at Indian, Hindi-speaking audience, but nowadays Hindi cinema, as you all know, is very much exposed and appreciated by people outside of the culture. So given the subject matter of Half Girlfriend, did this affect the screenplay? Have you had involvement in the screenplay for this film?
I read the screenplay before they went on shoot, but there's another guy called Tushar Hiranandani. He's done the screenplay, and I did see it, and I gave my list of, like, say, points, and said, okay, these are the things I feel are issues, and then they fixed it. So I was involved in that way, more in terms of reviewing it. But there is a certain amount of contemporization. I mean, even the book came 3 years back. Now we're in 2017. Things have changed even from there to now. You know, like messaging apps are much more common. Like a WhatsApp or something, everybody's using it now. It wasn't there even 4 years ago. So those kind of things are there. But And it's more style is such that there's less dialogue. There's a lot of emotions and there's a lot of songs. So even if an international audience sees the film with subtitles, they'll get the gist of it very well.
And how different is screenwriting to penning a novel?
It's very different. It's very different. This, of course, you're telling a story, but I've done three almost, like Kai Kuch I did, Kick I've done. It's very different because it's 1/4 the size of a book. Just the word count, 80,000 words versus 20,000 words. And you have to leave out a lot of things. For example, the thoughts of Madhav can't be there. You can't, I mean, you can have a voiceover or two, but not too much. Whereas Madhav can sit and write 2 pages in the book about how he felt when the people in the interview scene were judging him and they were laughing at him. How he felt. He talks about, I felt I was naked in front of the English speaking people when they laughed at me and my English was not coming out. I felt I was naked. Now, how do you show that? I mean, you can, but then you have to see Arjun. So that's just one example of the introspection that has to go away. A lot of times you just actors act, you don't describe things. So I think it's part an art. So if you're a novelist, it takes a while to adjust to that. A book is totally my show. So the editor will look at it, but that's more editorial stuff. So there's a very different approach because it's a teamwork. It's like you're working in a team to build a screenplay, and a book is largely the author's.
So do you envisage that when you're kind of writing, you're in that headspace? I mean, do you think right now I can hear some melody? This is where you need a song. No,
I don't. I think my readers have started doing that.
Right.
In my head, I'm very clear that the book has to work and it has to be, people who read the book have to enjoy the book. When the time to filmmaking, we can change things. We can change things around. I don't have to write the book like a film. It's just that so many of my books have become films that people are now casting directors.
But are you conscious when you write?
I try not to be. In terms of say subject selection, my last one was One Indian Girl. It's just a girl's story. Now, if I sure shot want a Bollywood movie, I should use Bollywood player. Harder to get money for it. I mean, if you really want now as a producer, or if I want a really big movie, I should take 45-year-old characters. All the Khans are that age. If I write a story with a 45-year-old love story, then it will be easier. Oh, let's go to Shah Rukh, let's go to Salman. Now you can't go.
But does it
One Indian Girl, how will you go?
Does it need a big star? Would you consider newcomers? Would you consider?
Yeah, I
making
would.
not a
But so
movie,
that's
a
what
documentary?
my aim is, to write a good book, and the film will be subservient to the book. Yeah. So yeah, we'll do what it takes. We'll make it on lower budget. We'll take it to the girl. We'll take newcomers. I don't know, but the book always comes first for me.
Let's talk a little bit about how it all started then, the road to becoming an author of best-selling novels. When did you realize that you wanted to become a writer?
So I have studied engineering.
Ask the questions that you want to ask right
So
now. Like how did you decide?
I mean, this is super deja vu for me because I've sat in lecture theatres like this in IIT Delhi, not here. But I never thought my life will take these turns. And then I did an MBA because people said you should do an MBA because just engineering has no value. First they tell you to work so hard to get into engineering college. Then you do and they say, but what's the point of just doing engineering? I'm like, okay. So then I did an MBA and I got in. So I did that. And then I just, basically once you're on this mercenary mode, you just say, okay, which is the job that is paying me the highest? And that's
It has to be after that. Really
yeah,
right?
nobody does MBA to, come on, right? To be clear, no. Either you marry for love or marry the most good looking person you can get. And that's simple. Or rich person or whatever you're I'm not suggesting. So I found investment banking as the best and then I did that. So I was in Goldman Sachs and this, that, and it was like, this is the dream, right? This is like every Indian middle class parents. This is their fantasy home, right?
Did you do
My
it to
son
appease
is now,
Did you choose that career path to appease your
subconsciously,
parents?
subconsciously. I don't think, I also believed it. I thought this is the road to eternal happiness. Goldman Sachs
It
is
was drummed into your head.
yeah, Goldman Sachs is a charitable organization, I thought. So I went there.
But wait, Chetan, apparently you were finally selected after 27 internal
Yeah.
interviews. Is that true?
I mean, even now I think they're very selective.
Wow.
That time it was a partnership. Now they're a public company. Even now it's very hard. And they are this super into consensus. And like everybody will talk to you. this liftman will also
You must have met everybody, like 27 interns.
Yeah, liftman will also interview you. They just do it. They just keep making you meet people. I think this is wear you down. And I kept meeting people. It's fine. And then I had a very bad boss. Okay? After a couple of years, I had a very bad boss. Nobody will teach you this in college, and nobody taught me. And I, you know, if you have one bad boss, he can make your life.
What's a bad boss?
He didn't promote me when I was due. He gave me very bad reviews. Just like, you know, taking away the good projects, belittling you is easy. Mother-in-law, basically. So, and he was really bad. And I just wanted a promotion, and it was not coming 1 year. Then next year, and like people dumber than me, or not even dumber, just not as good as me, they were getting it. And then next year, I said, okay, it happens. I'm Indian, you know, fresh off the board. I was not from a UK and US college. I'm from Ahmedabad, which is Greek to them at that time. Now they go and recruit there. But at that time, I'm talking like 90s when you guys were born. That's when they didn't even know, right? So I thought, okay, fine. I'll pay my dues. And then he didn't do it next year also. I swear, if he had given me a 10% raise and that promotion, which actually means nothing right now, I would have not been right. You know, I'm so thankful to him that he was such an asshole. Right? In my second book, because first book I didn't know, first book became big, so I wrote a second book. If you open one night at a call center acknowledgements, I thanked him. I said, thank you for being so bad, because you know you kicked me and basically told me and made me tell myself I'm better than this. And meanwhile, the world outside is like, oh, you're Goldman Sachs, you're Goldman Sachs. Like as if you go in there and it's like a spa. I'm like, what? I'm supposed to be really happy. Why am I not so happy, right? And I thought maybe it's this guy and everything. And then I realized that all my friends, like college mates, they all used to have extracurricular activities in college. There's somebody play basketball, somebody plays music, somebody just debating. And after they start working, gone. Everything's gone. Something that made you so happy in college that you did it for free, and you just give it up because you know now I have to do my work, now I have to raise my kids, you know, or whatever reason. I said that's really sad, man. This is not. I'm not happy, and I'm making lots of money, but it's not making me happy. And I was happier when I was in college and I had no money. So I thought it's a very confusing place to be in. And then I said, okay, I'm going to take revenge on this boss now. So I did the LBDN strategy, which is look busy, do nothing. I said, now he's not promoting me, I might as well stop working. Yeah. Right? I'm not saying do this, okay? Follow the good things I've done, don't follow the bad things I've done. And so on my laptop like this guy is probably chatting with me. But it looks like he's taking notes, yeah. Right? Anyway, thanks.
He's already learned this technique.
So I did that. So
so were you writing your books?
I write term sheets, and there are these term sheets in investment banks, writing like some deal structures and all that. And in the middle, I'll be like writing a romance scene. I started writing about my college days. Literally, it started like that. I started writing, converting scenes, what happened in my life with my first girlfriend, which became the girlfriend in 5 Point Someone or 3 Idiots. And I just started writing and putting it all together. And I said, and I had written for college magazines and I used to write plays and all. That was my only extracurricular I had. Never a book. But after months of LBDN, I felt this is something I can put together in a story. So I tried to put it together, cleaned it up a little bit, and then I tried to get it published. And of course I didn't know anything about publishing, so nobody took it. So everybody said, what is this? Because at that time again, that was the era where Indian publishing was about, Salman Rushdie and Vikram Seth and Arundhati Roy. They were looking for the next that. And they wanted like the Booker Prize basically, right? And the Booker Prize is given to literary novels usually. And they had written books like Arundhati had written about Kerala and about the coconut trees and all that. And there's more in the book, I know. Right? And Vikram Seth is a suitable boy, this, that. Salman Rushdie, Midnight Children, like Independence and all that. And what's your book? It's 3 boys in IIT who are failing in class and sleeping with the professor's daughter and drinking. And they're like, I don't think this is the next Rushdie. And so they didn't take it. That was the industry norm. But I didn't know, and I got even more depressed. I said, I have a bad boss, maybe the bad boss is right. I am useless, I am doing this, and then, everything, all my friends, like suddenly, we are competitive bunch, IIT, IIM. So all are getting promoted, all are becoming vice president. I'm like still stuck there with this book that nobody wants to publish. So I'm like, even my wife is looking at me, maybe there's something wrong with me. I was like, maybe there is, I don't know. And then luckily, I think, I make a very good sad face. So my publisher, Rupa and Company, which is my publisher till today, I said, okay, fine, we'll do it. Okay. They had no expectations. So they said, put this name 5 points on the at least change the name. This is a stupid name for a book.
Where did it come from?
See, all my names are girlfriend. So it's basically grade point average. Oh, so if you get 5 in IIT, you're really bad. So it's the class system. 9 points is good, 5 is good. But it's very in joke. I mean, it can't be think of it as stupid to have such a.
It's noticed.
Yeah, but so then the book came out and I started doing well. I kept on doing well, kept on doing well. And then I wrote another one, and then another one, all started doing well. And then somebody said, I want to make a movie out of it, and this and that. And then I one day said, you know what, I can't do this anymore. The banking, it's enough's enough. So
Which you weren't doing anyway, you were already.
I mean, I can't spend my time here, I can't pretend now. So, and then I left. Actually, my last year was
So did your boss realize that, hang on, you're working here and you've got a book published?
So when the book got published in India, I used to work in Hong Kong. He didn't know much.
Okay.
He didn't know. Okay. And then he got transferred to New York. And I still kept working. And then I left, and then he kind of lost touch. Of course, I don't keep in touch with him. And then one day, he was reading Time magazine in New York in his office. And these are 100 most influential people in the world. And he sees my name. And he's like trying to place me, Googling, is it the same guy? This, that. And then I get a message from him. Hey, is this you? No, I was like, okay by then. But yeah, basically this is how the journey began. It wasn't, I wish I had a great story, like I was sitting under a tree and wanted to change my country. But it really was about a bad boss. And I guess the lesson, because I'm in a talk in a college, is that shit happens in life. It'll keep happening. The first time I didn't get published or didn't get promoted and all, the first instinct was to go, there was a bar near my office and go and have tequila shots. I just need the excuse, right? I'll just go have tequila shots. Nobody loves me, I'll drink tequila, right? Or I'll eat chocolate, or I'll eat ice cream because nobody cares for me. Because that kind of logic applies. That's how I think. And I could have easily done that. I could have easily, and many of my friends, even though they were not super miserable, they were not in the right jobs. But they somehow manage it till the evening, then in the evening, they have a few beers, and they're like, okay fine, life's not so bad now. And then 5 to 7 years later, it catches up. And then it's too late. So, the other attitude is to say, no, what can I do about it? What can I do to get out of the situation? And sometimes things work out. Because life will never go as planned. Bad people will come, bad situations will come. It becomes an attitude, And I'm so happy I wrote that book. I'm so happy I didn't become an alcoholic because my career wasn't going well. I'm happy that I did something productive, whatever it was. Even if the book, at least I did a book.
But there's something within you, Chetan. There was that creativity, there was the passion to do it, albeit your boss kind of motivated you and unintentionally inspired you. But these days, so when I'm talking to young people like on the Z Network, they all want to become performers or dancers or presenters or actors, right? So academically, they're not too fussed. In fact, most of them just ridicule school and say, oh my God, it's so boring. What would you say to
How many people want to stay engineers? Be honest, I won't tell the school.
There you go.
How many don't want to stay engineers? You all want to be engineers. That's good.
Yeah, that's good. They're saying it under pressure. They know it's being filmed, and their parents are going to see it, and the chappals are going to come out.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the influence is this kind of digital era as well, isn't it? That has a lot to do with it.
It's very interesting you mentioned that. Two things here, very quickly. One is, you're right, I did have some writing talent, at least commercial fiction, whatever it is, in me. But the education system, which I aced in India, it never spotted that. It never spotted that this boy can tell good stories. This boy can write well. In fact, I would have, so many people like me, equally talented, more talented, have slipped through the cracks and they are working in a bank branch somewhere right now, calling into a conference call. That's all we used to do in banks. This is the conference calls all the time. Half an hour call, 15 minutes to set up the call. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah. And then I used to be in Hong Kong. And Hong Kong, in New York morning is 9, is 10 p.m. Hong Kong. And my job is only one thing to say, nothing from Asia. I would sit there for 1 hour. In the end, New York loves the sound of its own voice. Keep talking. Anything from Hong Kong? Nothing from Asia. Just to say that nothing from Asia, I should wake up every night. Anyway, so that talent never been spotted. And now, I love writing. I love telling stories. The fame has come later. The so-called following, the kind of movies. Don't get dazzled by that, right? And I think that's what is happening because we didn't have those, this Instagram is a very scary thing, especially if you're young. Because I can see what Beyonce is doing this afternoon. And they do, even the biggest stars in this world, they do some pretty normal things. They brush their teeth, they do this. And when you look at them, you're like, I'm like this person. If she can be that, why can't I be this? Why should I work in the office for 40 years? Why can't I be a rock star? Or why can't I be a writer? Or why can't I be a... And it gives you that false connection. And you start feeling it. But it's usually a big journey to get there. I'm on fast track, right? I'm considered very lucky writer. Like, it's just happened so fast for me. My first book came in 2004. I must have started doing publisher rounds 2002, 2 years it gets getting rejected. Started writing 2000. So even in my super fast track career, it's been a 17 years to build the Twitter pictures that come today. Hey, promoting half girlfriend London, yeah, selfie, stupid shit, right? Finally, I'm told I have to do it. I have to do it. Yeah,
part and parcel.
Yeah. But that's not. You can't look at that and say, I want this job. No. You have to realize the journey and anything you want to achieve in life. There is pain. What you've done in journalism, there is pain, and you have to enjoy the pain almost more than the reward. Then it happens. But if you just look at the rewards and then I think you're deluding. I don't think the students here are like that because they are studying engineering and they're responsible. But I know, I have kids myself. They are like 12, 13. They all want to be Steve Jobs. Like,
That's
really?
not a bad thing.
No, but like just because you know how to download an app doesn't mean you can open Apple. Or like, so.
Yeah, they're very tech savvy.
They know it better than me.
Yeah.
Yes, but But I mean, in a way, it's good also that you dream big. So I think my generation, the problem was, my generation, this generation has started happening. So sad, man. So back in our days, or maybe it still happens now, dreaming big was the big issue. What I found was in my middle class upbringing in India, I was never asked that I can achieve anything. That is not a problem. The other problem is now, everybody wants to be superstar. Everybody is not going to be superstar.
But Chetan, were you asked what do you want to be when you grow up? Did your parents ask you?
No. We have a board exam. Anybody from the Indian system? But some of you have. So in 10th there is a board exam. They have it here also in UK. They must be. We have copied the same. Same. Cut paste. British guys, bye. Please give your manuals. We'll operate the country. So I got 76% in class 10, which is a very bad score. Right? I can't be allowed to some of the colleges I couldn't give props to with that score. And at that time, like everybody sat around the table, my relatives and all, they're like, and I'm 15, 16, right? And they're like, yeah, 76% average student, right? And at that time, there was a super exciting technology in India called STD booths. You know STD booths? It's where you make calls. She knows.
Okay.
I guess people's real age if they know STD booths. It was you couldn't call. Like now you call, WhatsApp call anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
There was a time if you have to call from, I don't know, here to Manchester, you have to go to a booth, stand in line and call. And we thought it's a big revelation because before that you had to book trunk call, which is a so everybody was opening these booths, and I said, if I have a STD phone booth, I'm set. Very good, I'll have 2. I'm super smart, I'll have 4 STDs. Nobody's coming, I'll call my girlfriends, it's fine. And I told this guy to my family, they were okay with it.
Okay.
They said it's not a bad book. Okay, you can do this. I think you can do this. And that's the realm of your dream. So that is also wrong. That if you dream too little, and it's also wrong if you dream too unrealistic in life. Happiness and reality is somewhere in the middle. And then I sat in my room and said, that's it. At 16, everybody in my world has decided what I'm going to be. So it's up to me now to do something remarkable, or they'll never take me seriously. So then I said, okay, which is the hardest college in the country to get into? This is IIT. I didn't know anything about it. So I said, okay, I'll start studying for it. From myself, I'll study for 2 years. And then when I got in, then the perception changed. Then my Mamaji will come and say, I knew he had he had a spark, he had a spark. But you were throwing water on that spark. But it happens. So sometimes the only person in believing in yourself is you.
So Chetan, like recently, I'm sure most of the students here know who are quite socially active as well. We've had a lot of media personalities come up with books, and most of them about their own personal life, the battles they've endured, but they're equally inspiring, uplifting, and educational at the same time. Most of you probably know the hugely popular, very successful YouTuber Lily Singh, Superwoman, aka Lily Singh. She wrote a book about what she's learned about achieving success and happiness. So I have to ask you, can anybody write a book?
Yeah. Good or bad is separate. Anybody can write a book. Yes, of course anybody can write a book. But do you want to? And will it be good? And I think the question is, can anyone write a book that other people want to read? That's not everybody.
So what are the key ingredients you'd say that go into?
I think you have to, there's a certain X factor, which is, do you have, and books are no one kinds, right? They're non-fiction, fiction. So I can talk about fiction more. But you have to have that storytelling talent in you. If you don't, then it becomes very difficult to do stories, because like you kind of, people you meet at parties, they'll start a story and you don't even know where they're going with it. They should not.
But you just smile and nod your head.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, is there a punchline here? Or then they're like, and then that happened. And then I had lunch. Please tell me the reaction now, right? So those people should write. But just having storytelling ability is not enough. You need to have a command over language. Doesn't mean a very elaborate vocabulary. It may help you, but sometimes it can be against you also, because you won't be able to reach people. But you have to have a very, very clear way of expression, and which normally comes if you are very clear on what you want to say. So everybody feels, every human being feels things over here. Few are able to express it verbally, right? You know how you have some friends who are good at expressing and some friends who just bottle up things. They can't express it. They feel it, they can't express it. But many can express it verbally. And still fewer can express it in a writing form. That's even less. You feel the same thing as me. So when you read my book, you feel connected to it. But you may not be able to write it the way a writer does. And that's the difference. And I think it's important to know that either you have it in you or you don't. And then build on that. Other things you build, language, reading a lot of other books, exposure, life experiences, so all those things. But these are the fundamental tools of this.
Okay. So maybe starting out with like short stories or writing.
Yeah, I think it's always better. Write a short story and see if people like it. Before you run a catering business, maybe you should feed your family and see.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm opening a marriage party business and nobody eats.
So Chetan, one of your very popular books, Two States, which was later adapted into a film, is said to resemble a particular phase of your life. And would you say that the characters within your books play a large part of something that you've lived?
I think so, because I write about reality. I write about common everyday life. So where will those things come from? They will come from my own experience or what I've seen, what I've experienced. I'm not writing fantasy, I'm not writing murder mysteries. So So I'm writing very normal, everyday life stories. I mean, I must have been in a half-girlfriend type situation more than once maybe. Let's not even start. But yeah, so and that's why the books work, because there's a piece of me in them. And I think people like that. People like some, even though it's fiction, there is something real about it.
But you like to sort of people watch, not in a stalker kind of way, but you like to observe people.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to write about British Asians, would it mean that you'd have to spend significant amount of time here to sort of get to grips with them?
Maybe. Not too much. Maybe not so much about. I mean, I would go to a place. Now I go to a place also to research it.
Right.
But it's about spending time with the right people, and you don't have to do it in London. You can do it in India also or whatever. But people say I'm a very perceptive person. People say that they come to meet me, and if I'm talking to you one-on-one, in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, they say, "Oh, you've noticed things about me nobody has," or "How did you guess that about me?" And I think that comes from experience, and I think we're all people. At the end of the day, we're all human beings, and human beings want the same things all over the world, in Britain or in Tibet or in India. But the context becomes different, the social context becomes different, the issues become different. So I think that will just, spending time with people will help me understand.
No, I asked that because you write a lot about the North and Indians, middle class. So have you spent, time in that part?
Well, I grew up in Delhi, so a lot of my stories are I grew up in Delhi. I went to IIT Delhi, so that's 5,001. I went to IIM, so that's 2 states. I went to Bihar a lot for talks, so that's half different. So there is something. I think they're telling us that
I think
Okay, yeah. So
we're running
actually,
out of
so I'm going to run
time,
through
so
a
we need
few
to have
quick
a Q&A
questions, and then we'll open it up to you guys as well. So if you had to choose, and I hate to do this, and I know you probably won't be able to pick one right now, but
don't do the coffee with
the
Karan Amir
correct.
and Salman.
I know what your answer is going to be here. So if you had to choose between 2 states and Half Girlfriend, which one would you choose and why?
Oh God. On the eve of release of Half Girlfriend, I think I would choose Half Girlfriend because I'm a co-producer. So I have brought this baby up day by day. Books I can't choose between. Of course, Tuesday is my own life story a little bit, so it's a little different connection. I got to vent about my mother-in-law finally, so it was nice. But film-wise, definitely Half Girlfriend, and the music and the whole, it's an experience. When you go and sit in the Half Girlfriend theater, no, the Mohit's music hits you like when he does it in that Dolby. He spends a lot of time doing those things. I didn't even know, but YouTube, it sounds nice, but when you sit in the theater, the Dolby he does the music, it make you cry for no reason. You're just sitting and crying. You're like, why am I crying?
It's amazing what music can do. And how do you select the names of the characters in your books? Are these actual people you know, or names? You
Actually,
have a
all
connection
the male characters, all the male protagonists are named after Krishna. So, 2 states was Krish, Kai Poche was Govind, if you've seen, or Hari in 5.7, Sham in One Night at a Call Center, Madhav in Half Girlfriend. They're all Krishna's names. This is my way of spreading his name in the world. Millions of people read it, 100 times the name is mentioned, so billions of times Krishna's name has come. So, yeah. And one Indian girl I had to be girl, so it's Radhika there.
So Chetan, I'm hoping that these are actual quotes from the book. I must confess I haven't read Half Girlfriend yet, but I'm going to watch the movie first. Have you got copies of the book with you?
I have 5 copies signed.
Oh,
So we'll give it to people who ask questions. Not you.
Yeah, I've been asking loads of questions. Okay, so I quote from the book, ignore girls and they can't leave you alone. Are you talking from experience?
Yeah, the full line is pretty girls behave best when you ignore them. But of course the pretty girl has to know that you're ignoring her.
Or is it works both ways, I think.
Yeah?
Doesn't it?
Pretty boys.
Personal experience, I've tried.
See what happens is,
ignoring a guy and it
it's
works,
of course
right?
a controversial thing, but anybody attractive. Let's be genuinely okay.
It sounds like a bit of game playing, right?
It is, and that's not good.
Yeah.
But the fact remains that somebody who's attractive, whether male or female, you're probably right, gets a lot of attention these days, especially on WhatsApp. every semi-cute Indian girl gets 20 good morning baby. You know.
His WhatsApp. So like.
Yeah, this WhatsApp is cost. There's zero cost to guys, right?
Yeah, but
There's no
this number's
effort.
been exchanged, right?
But they just say hello, good morning, all this stupid thing. So she's sick of stupid attention. So she wants a guy who is giving attention. And I only know girls better because I've never wooed a guy. But so I think they behave better in a way like and they also like it more. I think they don't want somebody who's clingy and it's a turn off.
I think it works both ways. Tried and tested. Right, okay. Girlfriends come and go, but thank God mothers don't break up with you. Well, I'm not sure running at you with a chappal qualifies as a breakup from my experience with my mum when it came to studying and lots of other things.
No, but this line mother says when he comes home after Ria leaves him after college, and the mother says you don't look nice. Come, let me give you food, and I'll cook food for you. And he says, thank God, my mother will never break up with me. Because you love a girl and you never know tomorrow she may break up with you. Your mom is not going to break up. That's also love, no, in some way. So it's just a comment from others.
Lovely. Okay, so before we open up the floor for you guys and your questions, Chetan, quick fire round.
Amir Salman.
It's a would you rather, okay? Half girlfriend or be happily married? That's taking too long. Oh.
There's no happily married.
There's no happily married? Oh my gosh. You just shattered everything that we've done inside.
I mean, that's you get putting oxymorons and then okay, yeah.
Okay, I think I should have put tequila in the next one, but we'll go with what I had originally.
No, I don't have tequila. It's very stupid to have it.
Okay, half a pint of beer or a full pint of milk?
Milk. No, I'm not a big milk person. I have beer maybe. Wine is better.
Okay, right.
But since between the two.
Alright,
So
so.
that doesn't mean please have milk. I don't know. You came to our college, said have beer.
No, it's like goes.
Here it's okay, but
Half
in India
a
it
glass.
becomes a big deal, man. I
Half a
can't
pint,
go there.
that's like everyone can. Empty or half full?
Half full. I mean, it can be. It's always, even if it's a quarter's full. I think that's the one thing I have is a positive outlook towards life. I try. I have my low days, but largely I'm a positive person, and I think that has helped me a lot. And it's always, it's a half full or whatever they say. It's half full of air and half full of water. Yeah.
Okay, so half a marathon or walk around the block?
Half marathon. I used to do half marathons, my goal
Now-
after half girlfriend is to do a half marathon.
Okay.
Really,
Okay, and final one. Half a book, like a short story, or a Hindi film?
No, I won't do short stories. Hindi film.
Hindi film.
Then, but food is better than Hindi film, which is better than short story.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Right, guys, it's over to you now. So
The other books, I'll just.
let's have
So
some
you be
questions.
the judge if the question deserves a book.
Okay. All right. So should we do ladies first? So please say your name, like stand up.
She's choosing. Okay, I'm not choosing who's asking questions. So don't blame me.
Okay, so please stand up and say your name.
Hi, I'm Shivani. Nice to meet you. First of all, apologies for coming in late.
It's okay.
I felt like
You missed the best part.
Really, I felt like the guy who was running late for the interview in the Maldives, and I mean, we couldn't ask anyone who it was, like who was really. So I guess we touched on it briefly before, and I know a lot of your books are inspired from reality. But in this book, I think the prologue, I'm sorry for spoiling this, but in the prologue you mentioned about how someone stormed in and they tried to get you to read these journals. Is that true or
You can't ask.
Oh.
Magician, the secrets.
How much is that?
Some of it.
Some of it's true.
Yeah, but it's not in the movie. I'm not in the movie. In the book, I meet the character and then the book starts. They didn't do a movie. Yeah. No.
Are you going to do movies in the future?
Like act?
Yeah.
No.
Is that the next step?
No.
What about direction? Direction.
No. I think it's very tough. Yeah. Mohit is almost.
I think especially for being the first one and being so brave to ask the question because that takes a lot.
Okay. There you go.
Right, more questions please. But actually Chetan, you should choose like.
No. Then they'll be like, you choose.
Okay, to the right here. Sorry, I feel like we've got our backs to you. What's your question?
Hi, I'm Rishi. So your literary book deals with some very liberal modern topics, and I live in Mumbai, and I know it's one of the most liberal things in India, but it's still not completely acceptable to have a pre-marital relationship or something like that. So how has your work changed with respect to this acceptance of more liberal ideas, and do you feel like you influence others, or you've been influenced by this change?
Very good question. My God. It's a deep question. Can you just ask
Imperial
me
College
what was it like to be with Shraddha on the sets? Please ask me that. No, good. I'm very happy you asked that question. Because that's something, are you representing society, or are you now, do you want to just show society a mirror, or do you want to show society what they should be? Right? And in many cases, I want to connect. So if I completely do something so radical that nobody connects to, nobody will do it. But in one way, it is this aspect which I feel I'm different from a lot of my readers, is the liberal attitude towards, say, sex, for lack of a better word, or intimacy, or premarital, or whatever. I'm not saying, I don't promote promiscuity, but if people are in love, I'll normally show that they're making love, or things like that. And like even in Two States, there's a song in which Alia throws a condom box at Arjuna. I mean, it's a big deal to show that in a movie like that, and I'm surprised they kept it, because they could have snipped it off. But it also reflects changing attitudes. It's not as much, there's a section of the young generation where it's not such a big deal anymore, and I feel it's okay to do that. In fact, one New York Times journalist told me one of the big reasons people read your books is you are the only mass person who talks about sex in India. Doesn't make me some big guru. But if you read especially One Indian Girl, that's a very, and in that book I needed some sex scenes, because this girl is discovering sexuality. It's in this hardly like this, like a fast forwarded sex scene. But in the in One Indian Girl, there's pretty much like this detailing, you know, the girl says, I'm not satisfied. Am I not, are you satisfied? But I'm not satisfied, as an innocent thing. So those things had to be mentioned. Right? You won't find them in popular culture in India. It's sexless popular culture in India. Right? It's very gross. It's like item songs, and it's very misrepresentation of objectification of women. But there's no frank discussion of a middle class girl in say Kai Poche, who's taking tuitions from her brother's best friend, and they make out. It's not there, right? But it was there in that book. So I think it's important that I do that. Sometimes I do get flack for it. Oh, what is this? You know, porn. I mean, are you getting turned on by these things? Really? Instead of watching the best porn on Google, opening Chetan Bhagat's book, going to that page and getting turned on. It's kind of a compliment. This is hardly any.
You're gonna have to start
It's not.
certifying your
There is
books.
no. There's no. I never write things like, you know, mention genitals, or I don't do all that. But yeah, but what shakes them up is I show very middle class people like them doing it, you know, and women having agency in doing it. And I think it's an important agenda for India right now. The more women are allowed to express themselves, the lesser the crimes against women become. And it's a very long discussion, and we don't have time for all that. But the more empowered women are in society, the better the men behave. That's why there are no lesser rapes here, right? They keep on banning alcohol there. You can get alcohol on any European beach. Women are in bikinis, why aren't there rapes happening there? Because people know that these women have rights. You can't just do it, right? But there they don't. But the more I show that women are people with thoughts, values, desires, it's important that I do that, and it's a great tool for me to do it. At the cost of alienating some readers. Some readers do get offended. So I remember, now it hasn't happened, but first book they said, sir, very nice book, sir, 5 point someone, only one remains, sir. Neha should have remained virgin till the end. Why? So that you could do her? Or what is it? But that's the thing. No, sir, such a sweet book. Why you have to show that? But that's his social programming. He think, see, there is, we call it Gandhi bath in India. Sex is Gandhi bath. That's not true. Yes, some bad things are associated with sex, but there are some good things associated. Intimacy, I never show casual sex. I'll always show people in love having sex. And that's a big issue sometimes in India. That's the politics. And that's the fun part of my job actually, to take those people on and then reason with them and then show them that it's their hypocrisy. You know? So, yeah. He deserves it.
Yes.
Oh no, I've already got a copy,
So give it to someone. Signed copy.
Gift it, there you go.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Last
Here you go.
three questions.
Okay,
Three
so let's
questions.
go for the lady in the black.
So my question was about something you said earlier, that your book, One Indian Girl, you said you didn't think about making it into a film when you wrote it, of course, and you thought it might not be as successful, but obviously looking at Queen, that's a film about just one woman and she's the lead, so why do you think your book would be as
I'll
well?
make it into a film. But it's harder. People are more, it depends on the flavor of the month. If the book was happening at the Queen time now this movie Noor came, that didn't do well. So then suddenly people who put money say, oh, I don't know, this whole feminism thing, you know. But Pink did well. So yeah, I agree with you. I don't think there's a problem, but it's easier to get things going when you have a boy-girl pair. I'm just telling you the reality. It's more, Queen is more exception than the norm.
So you would be interested in producing a film based
I would, but let's see now how Half Girlfriend does. If people find that Half Girlfriend is done well and whatever Chetan works on has an audience, then they'll make one Indian film. Okay, that's for you. Can you pass it over?
Okay, yeah.
Hi, my name is Surya. One of the underlying themes in this story is that the boy can't speak English, and I know that in India it's used as a form of like class discrimination almost. Do you think that's changing India for the better or for the worse?
It's bad only. No? So there is class discrimination, Hindi versus English, and sometimes what I now see is what I call E1s, which is people like you, maybe even people like me, who are very comfortable talking in English. We can even think in English. And there is this E2s, which are from say a small town. They studied in a school where the English teacher wasn't very good. They know English, but when they talk, you can tell he's not that good. He's not an E1. So there is E1, there is E2, and pure vernacular speakers. The E1 versus E2 battle is very hot. Even Madhav knows English. He tries. He starts no. So myself coming from village area, which has become a meme on the internet because it's that line. It's what a lot of Indians feel at a lot of time. I don't know, man. You're in this world, so a lot of Indians want that. They want the Honda. They want the best cell phone. They are seeing all this on internet, on TV. Their aspirations are rising, but they don't know how to get it. They're like, but Citibank won't hire me because I don't even speak English properly, you know. And they're battling. They want to fight it, and they want to get there. And now that's why the whole nationalism we're finding, or even Modi's election. Modi is a symbol, an E2 guy, and they're like, and Rahul Gandhi is E1. There is a little bit of that politics happening even in this. Of course, there are a lot of other reasons, but this is there. So I felt it's an amazing issue to write about, and I think it's good because it's a major touch point for people. It's like, imagine you can't speak a language properly and you are told to sit at that corner, just on that, but you're smarter, you have the same IQ, you have the same ideas, but you're not getting it. And it's your own country and it's your own language you're speaking, and that is being used against you. It's a big deal. And now with social media coming in, it's only going to rise more. Google just said that 90% of new internet users in India are using it in the local languages. All the growth is in that. So I think it's a very interesting issue. Yeah.
Relating back to we're students here, and you're clearly a very successful student. What is your kind of major advice to students like us during our exam time, or not even exam time, but
study
college years, and then taking that forward?
Extracurriculars, it really builds character, organizing things. Somebody must have organized this talk. It helps. These are skills that are very much in demand these days. Networking, organizing things, putting things together, executing things. So learn those, and be good. Just be excellent at whatever you do. Be excellent at. I think mediocrity doesn't get you very far. So, I don't know, I'm trying to solve.
No, but I think it's great because whatever you guys are studying for right now is going to stay with you for a lifetime. Like Chetan said earlier on, he's implementing those skills that he learned when he came with banking even today.
Yeah.
So there's always a plan B, but the extracurricular, don't give that up. Obviously, try and channel the two if you can at the same time. But yeah, very good question. Okay, so is that our last book?
Yeah,
Right.
we can take one question.
Yeah,
We-
okay.
Book-less questions.
Sorry, you
That's
did
okay.
check.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
So you're in this best-selling author, right? How much of these books' success do you attribute to the fact that you have an IIM background? Because it seems like that's the kind of dream for every middle class Indian.
In fact, it worked against me when I went to get it published. They're like, how can an IIT guy write books? Now every IIT guy is writing books. And I think that's an issue. Maybe the first book it helped because it was on IIT and I had to be, it's an insider's account of IIT. So, but I don't think it matters now. I don't think half Girlfriend will be judged on how the film is. It doesn't matter that Chetan went to IIT, so he will, accept a bad film. That's not going to happen. So I think it doesn't matter now.
Would you say you'd be as good a writer or as well-renowned a writer if you did?
I think where it might be helping is when I say write editorials in newspapers. Because I have those degrees, I can write about. See, I have an MBA, so I can write about the economy. It sounds like people will say, okay, he's an educated guy. If all I had done was love stories in Bollywood, people may not have taken that seriously. So it does help, but not as much as, not really. There are many IITians who are there in the business, by the way. But it depends on the work, yeah. I mean, this business is very brutal. I mean, they love you a lot if you make a good movie. If you don't, they punish you. So it's about the film and the book.
Okay, I think that was yes.
Can I
so
just
Katie
ask
in the
one
back.
question?
Last one? Yeah.
When the movies are being made, do you have any input on casting? Because when
Yeah, I do. Now,
writing a
especially
book-
this one, because I was co-producer. But even the previous one, Two States Around, they run it by me. And it's more like a veto. It's not like I'm deciding. And it's not like I'm objecting for the sake of. But if I have a big issue, I will say it. But yeah, you still have a question?
Building
More
on
life
that,
advice.
why Shraddha?
Why Shraddha? Because she is, Mohit has done 2 films already with her. And they are her biggest, the combo has worked really well. When Mohit and her worked really well together. Yeah, she too a villain. Big star she is amongst the youngsters. So, the stardom also matters. And Arjun Shraddha pairing has not come yet. So those are some of the things. Like I said, the director knows how to get work out of her. And that's always good. We did Alia in the previous film. She's great too. But repeating Arjun Alia again for Half Girlfriend, I think too much. And who's available, who's not available. You sign a film, you're busy for a year. Then you can't get that person. You want to start next month, these are people available. It comes down to that also.
Right, thank you ever so much. Your questions were all amazing. Amazing audience. Thank you for taking time out and
Thank you.
study
Big hand
time.
for her.
Thank you.